Everyone, and welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope everybody's doing amazingly well today. And if you are not, we are here for some love and support and whatever it is that you need today. So, for those of you who are just joining us, this is the first time you've clicked on Unicorn Light Tarot. Welcome, welcome. And obviously, for those of you who are returning, welcome also. As always, we are setting up these readings as anything that you need. We have the magic candle here. You can release anything or any kind of energy you no longer want, or bring in abundance and beauty and manifestation. So we have this beautiful candle set up for extra healing, activation, again, using these sessions for exactly what you want. Now, today I thought we would do messages of comfort from your guardian angels. Pick a card. Your guardian angels could be absolutely anyone: ancestors, those who have passed on, physical angels, um, spirit guides. The whole gauntlet. Will be speaking to them today, and we will be giving you messages of comfort. Just feel as though with everything that's going on in the world, and so much transition and change and beauty, and revving up for a lot of transformation, which is absolutely wonderful. But we could use some encouragement, we could use some comfort. So we're going to get you those messages today. I also have my Reiki wand too, so if we need an extra level of integration or releasing or any kind of healing, we'll be sending that energy out to you also. So as always, we have our three piles, and today we have two cards on each pile. One of them is an oracle card and one of them is a tarot card. What I've done is I've kind of switched the sequence a little bit. So you can choose from color, from motif, from energy, however you want to choose. The pile is, of course, totally up to you. And of course, take as much time as you absolutely need. If you need to go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and do that. We'll take a deep breath in now. Together, hold and release. And just feel your energy lining up. Again, take as much time as you need. The more aligned you are, the more time you take for yourself, the more aligned you will be for these readings here, and the more they will feel like you. So take as much time as you need. The timestamps are down below if you need to pause the video and come back to us. So let's go ahead and get right into these readings. I am going to put aside pile 2 and pile 3 for now. So if you chose pile 1, then you chose the beautiful tarot deck that we'll be using today. That is on top. So these are your messages of comfort from your guardian angel. So let's see what we have for you. So we have higher learning. You have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. And you have temperance. How beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, and we're also going to choose one more tarot card here for your first initial, what we call this foundation reading. And then we'll get some more oracle cards for you on the side. The Hermit. Okay. So, it's beautiful cards here. So the first message that we're getting for you, pile 1, is for those of you don't feel discouraged in any way. There's a little bit of energy, and of course, like, 2020 was so huge for all of us, and we were sort of, for want of a better term, forced into the sort of crystalline and transformative kind of situation where, yes, there was a lot of growth, there was a lot of transforming, there was a lot of activation, and we were pushed into it one way or another. Because of the circumstances of 2020. So there were lots of ups and downs. There were lots of things going on. Now, when we come into 2021, as we have done already. We've had a couple of months of that. There is going to be, and we are working on, so hold the faith, Power One. There is going to be, gathering that firm foundation, really finding out who you are, and really deciding what parts of you that you want to keep. And for those of you who have had those ups and downs and, are constantly at this plateau where you think you get to this point, and you have a certain plateau and you absolutely get it, and then something sort of drops and falls out, and then you're constantly learning and constantly readjusting. Yeah, absolutely. Now life is all about that, constantly moving, constantly reaffirming, constantly growing. That's totally fine, and we understand that, but that's not quite what we're talking about. It's gathering that firm foundation, and more information is coming up, and it's almost like you get to this plateau where, yes, I finally get it, and then something else comes up. But we want to assure you that there is going to be a common ground where you will be able to work from that firm foundation, and do not lose hope. There's more information for you to incorporate a little bit, but you are a lot closer to being at that sort of developed stage than you think that you are. And when we say the developed stage, at that stage where you sort of come out of hiding a little bit, and you can systematically keep going for what it is that you want, and knowing what you deserve. What's really been working here is your patience with yourself, your understanding with yourself. What you're truly developing is this really firm understanding of self-worth, this full integration of your inner child where they stay all the time, this full integration of self, whereby from that integration, anywhere that you go, in any movement that you go off into, again, living spherically, not just narrowly in one direction, that it will all proceed. You will get exactly what you want from putting your energy out into the world. So you've done an extraordinary amount of work. You've come so far in such a relatively small amount of time, even though you've been working on yourself spiritually for a really, really long time. Again, there's been this aspect from 2020, and probably a couple of years prior to that. So it feels like it's been moving exponentially, and it just feels like, I'm at that point where I just need a respite. I need a break. I need to catch my breath. I need to know that whatever it is that I've worked on is crystalline. It's absolutely formed. And we can tell you that everything that you've been through has been formed. For some of you who have recently, you've had something that sort of rocked the boat a little bit. It could be something external, but it's really activated something, or it sort of triggered the internal. It could be something fell away from your external world, or something came up, or you came into this knowing of something that was absolutely huge. And you needed to have this knowing. You had to have it integrate for you to move forward and get that real that understanding of who you are. But that coming into that knowledge sort of rocked your boat, or rocked your world a little bit. And you're feeling a little bit shaky, baby. That's okay, because even though you might be feeling a little bit shaky in and around what's going on right now, Power One, we want to assure you that all of this information that's coming up for you, it may feel as though it's shaking you at your root. It may feel as though it's shaking you at your ground, but actually it really isn't. All it is if you can see it as, or understand it as taking the energy of what it is that's going on, and shaking it at your core. And when you go and you shake sort of a tree at its core, and whatever falls out, that's kind of what's happening. So whatever's shaking you at your core is everything that's falling out you no longer need. So we're going to ask you not to get attached to anything that's falling away necessarily, because it's falling away for a reason. And even though it feels intense while it's falling away quite easily. You're coming to that information quite easily, and there's a reason for it. You don't need that information anymore. You don't need that way of seeing anymore. So bear with it. And what will be left, even though if you feel shaken and you feel as though, oh my goodness, this is, this is a lot of information. This is a lot that's going on. And again, for those of you who are feeling even despair, will this ever end? Will I always be growing? Will I always, technically, again, you'll always be growing, but you are reaching that beautiful plateau of knowing who you are and having that really firm foundation. So what you're gathering now is real patience for yourself, this real handling yourself with kid gloves, of really understanding where you're coming from, having that beautiful temperance, having that gorgeousness around yourself, that real complete understanding of acceptance of all levels of what you're going through right now. And this is something that you've needed to acquire. This is something that you've, outside of yourself, you've done for other people. You've always been there for other people, and you've worked really hard on the non-judgmental element of not judging the external, not judging others. And even if you initially judge people as a way just to assess where they are, because, first judgments, we all do that, you always come back step by step. And, let's take a step back and say, all right, that was my initial judgment. Now let's go in and sort of rectify that and open that up. So even if you do initially judge, you do it as a way just to make sense out of the situation if you're called into it quickly and you have to figure out what's going on. But you've been working on that judgmental element on the external. Your real main thing right now is to really work on the way in which you judge yourself, the internal judgment, and that internal voice that you use for yourself, and lowering that, and really coming to terms with who you are and accepting every aspect, every part of you, all of the darkness, everything that you've done, all of that, and allowing that to integrate and fully embody that beauty that is you. And again, that's something that you've extended to the external, to people outside of yourself. You're now being asked to extend that to yourself. And have this gentle energy with yourself. So if you feel as though, you're feeling a little bit shaky, it's just because you're not used to really dealing with yourself with kid gloves. It's almost like there's for other people there's a lot of space that you give for people to sort of make their mistakes and be who they are. But for you, when it comes to you, you're very often like, buck up, let's get on with this. You can't let this get you down. You can't. And there's this movement, constant movement with you. Now that's something that you needed to do. And for a lot of you, you were living on the survival aspect. So you had to keep going. It was a luxury to kind of slow down and deal with this, and where there might have been inklings where you needed to slow down and where you needed to kind of figure out stuff and you needed to integrate stuff, but there wasn't time to do that. So if this feels a little overwhelming at this stage, it's just because you're just not used to taking this time to doing this for yourself. You're not used to like shining the light completely within the way that you've been doing it. When you've healed before, you've shined the light, but you've shined the light on very certain aspects of yourself that you've been very focused on, and that you've gone in and you've pulled apart and you've done. This is like going in with a torch or a flashlight, as you guys call them, and just allowing everything to sort of come up, whatever is left, whatever's been left in the darkness to come up. And so it's coming up from different levels, and it's feeling as though it's not necessarily feeling as though you're reverting in any way. It's just feeling as though, will I ever get through this? Will this always keep coming up? No, this will not always keep coming up. And these are messages of comfort from your guardian angels. They're very much there with you to let you understand. For some of you, it's the way in which specifically, the way in which you've worked with fear. You've made friends with fear. You've allowed fear to motivate you in the past. So sometimes there might be an inkling of stuff coming up, and then the fearful feelings come up, and then that's how you motivate. But you're not motivating this time. So the fear is sort of staying there. Now that's okay, because you've made friends with fear before. All you need to do is expel fear, shine the light on it, and allow it to go. You're not actually being motivated by fear anymore. So when you've let fear in before, your sort of adrenaline took over and you were motivated by it. So it got you going, and that's not working for you anymore. So this fear that's coming up for you might be sort of residual, and all you need to do is work with your patience and be very, very careful and very loving with yourself, and just release the fear because you're no longer motivated by it. Now, we can assure you with 150% that this is an absolutely good thing. It may not feel that great because this fear is in and you're not letting it go. It feels as though it's integrating, but it's not. It's just you're not motivated by it anymore. So all you need to do is just reach in and allow it to leave. Now, we want to be really clear about this, Pal One. Fear doesn't always bring messages that are relevant, not for you at this stage. Fear can sometimes just bring up all sorts of stuff that your mind wants you to look at because it's still in survival mode. As a reminder, your mind is wired for survival, it's not wired for thriving. So as this comes up, as this fear comes up, it may be useless fear. In the past, you've used fear in a way to alert you to situations, to give you sort of a rundown of things. And again, you've worked with it, you've made friends with it, you've used it as a motivator, and it's worked quite well for you. Not a lot of people would work this way. It takes a lot of guts to work that way, but that's the way you've worked, and it's worked well enough for you, at least. But you're not in survival mode anymore. So all the stuff that's coming up is just past old stuff. You don't need to go down the rabbit hole. You don't need to do any more work. It's not really alerting you to anything that's going to help you move forward. So your main thing here, Pal One, is to learn how to release fear and negativity now, because, as it moves in for you, you're no longer using it as a catalyst, you're no longer using it as motivation, and it's just coming in and seeping in. And it's not giving you any more information. In fact, it's giving you false information because it's trying to get your attention, because it's like, hey, I've been here this entire time. We've always worked together. We were buddies, remember? We were buddies. We were buddies. What are you doing? You're not working with me anymore. And the truth is, you've outgrown that way of doing it. You're not working with fear anymore. You got to say to fear, hey, well, you don't have to do anything. But as a suggestion, you can say to fear, thank you for helping me through all of that, or alerting me. I don't know if it really helped necessarily, but it definitely used a purpose, a catalyst, alerting station, whatever. You absolutely used it. You made some kind of bond and friendship with it. You made some kind of deal with it, almost like a business deal. You help me out, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And that worked for a while, and that was wonderful. But here it is. It's not working for you anymore. So all you have to do, Pal One, is just learn how to expel the fear without taking it in, without taking in that message. While that message was very, very important to you before, it alerted you to your circumstances and what you needed to do, what you needed to do to take hold of the situation. It doesn't do that anymore. And the information that you're getting is sort of out of date, is the best way to describe it. So have that motivation to really sit with yourself and have that patience, have that beauty, shine the light on where the fear is coming in. And, and of course the fear is telling you, oh, you don't need me anymore. So, what's going on? None of this is working. Despair, despair, despair. No, not at all. All you need to do is have that patience to go in and relinquish that relationship. You're going to have to go in and in your own way, and this is individual for every single one of you, you're going to have to go in and fire fear. It's not going to be easy one way or another. It's going to be easier than you think. It's not going to be easy for fear, but that's okay. You're going to have to go in and fire fear. You were great. We really appreciated you. But there's no longer a position for you here. We appreciate what you've done. Thank you very much. We're going to have to ask you to leave. So your messages of comfort are, you've got this. This is actually a very small thing for you to do. If you're feeling overwhelmed, taking this action and putting fear in its place, and unfortunately there is no place for it anymore, letting it go will bring you back to you sooner, and the despair will disintegrate. You are a lot further on than you think you are, and that's just fear just letting you know, oh, you don't need me. Of course you do. X, Y, and Z is happening, da 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 da. Doesn't want to be taken out of the rotation. But unfortunately, it just doesn't need to be there anymore. Let's get you a little bit more information. So let's see what we have for the oracles here. And we're going to get you a little bit of Reiki too. But we promise you, for those of you who have been down in the dumps a little bit, or a little bit confused, or a little bit overwhelmed, or a little bit fed up, a little bit frustrated, nothing necessarily great, but just sort of at that monotone level where you don't feel as though you can get right back up where you have been before. We promise you it's a small glitch in the matrix. It's a small glitch, but this is a very important lesson for you to move through and integrate. And once learned, you obviously are shifting the way in which you see the world, the way in which you identify with the world, the way in which you integrate with the world, your general connection with the world at large, and even the way you speak and work with yourself will change. This is actually going to be a dramatic transformation. It doesn't feel like that right now. But yeah, fear is definitely, it's keeping you bound to it a little bit, and it's just you've outgrown it. So mirth, don't be so serious. Coming into this is about, lightening up. Of course, you're trying to be joyous, but, with all of this that's going on, this is just another message to assure you things are definitely not as bad as they seem. They're absolutely not. That's what fear does. It comes in like a fog, right? And when you can't see anything, you're left with this, sort of quote unquote understanding that nothing's there because you can't see it. But that's all it does. It just initiates this fog all around everything. But once you actually sort of blow the fear away, the fog lifts, and then you can see everything again. So you are moving on to this new level of transformation. We do promise you it's right there for you. Now, what we're going to do here, first of all, I'm just going to open up with the power symbol. We're just going to be sending that to you. And we're also going to be doing another symbol here. So just breathe. Just breathe. And this is going to heal on a cellular level. It heals past life issues and karmic issues. And that's going to help just sort of relieve and lighten up. We're also going to do a Seiheki right here, just for the emotional right side, left side coming back in together for the balance, divine masculine, divine feminine, and we're just going to do that power symbol again. So just breathe through that as we send you just a little extra clarity through this, little extra clarity. Let's get you some moon advice coming in here. But again, just sit with that beautiful understanding of who you are and come back to you, because you are glorious. Absolutely. Now, again, so this is what you got here. Your commitment is being tested. Sure, we don't want you to really concentrate on the idea of this being a test, because sometimes that can be very overwhelming. Oh, I've got to pass a test again. Oh, another test. I've got to, break through another barrier. And for some of you who are already sort of fed up or frustrated with constantly, this transformation. I want to reach this plateau. And, this could be kind of a little bit annoying. So let's switch that a little bit and bring it on its ears and give you another way of looking at this. So your commitment is not necessarily being tested per se, but your understanding of yourself is being given a chance to level up. And this is not a small integration that you're going through. It really isn't. When you've integrated and worked and had such an intimate relationship with fear before as a motivator, and man, did it work for you? Absolutely. Then releasing fear at its core gives you this freedom that you've never had. So what it is that really the universe, your guides are saying, you're absolutely ready for this. This is not a small thing. And it will change your extreme relationship with yourself, again, with connections with yourself, with the universe, with your guides, with the world, with your past lives. It changes everything. It has the chance to change and push you up into this next level of frequency. So it's not that you're being tested, it's just that you are absolutely ready to go and move into this new way of being, which is complete liberation. So you're just being asked to breathe through it. And again, don't take it too seriously. It seems weird because, that's what fear does. It tells you everything's falling apart and you're dying. This is happening. Oh my God. For some of you may feel as though, oh my God, I've got nothing left. This darkness, I'm dying. I mean, it tells you all sorts of extreme things because it wants you to be with it. And it's absolutely not true at all. For those of you who've ever had an anxiety attack, you're not actually dying, but your body and your mind will tell you that, the fear will tell you that you're dying. You're not at all. By any stretch of the imagination, not at all. And your body is extremely resilient. After like 5 minutes of a panic attack, it can be pretty much back to normal in some cases. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes or half an hour. They can be quite uncomfortable, but you're not dying. This is just sort of a spiritual panic attack, as it were. Now, while they're not nice, they're absolutely not nice. Nobody, looks forward to it. Oh, I've scheduled in a panic attack. I'll be with you in 10 minutes. Nobody does that. I mean, some people do, but it's not very nice, right? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody looks forward to them. But really, at the end of the day, they're far worse than they tell you that they are. So not necessarily commitment being tested, but you are at the level where you're able to step up and transform. Remember how powerful you are. Have a lot of patience with yourself. Be there for yourself. Really allow in that full integration of your inner child, and just allow all that fog to leave. Because the main thing about this reading is that you've come to the point where you realize that there's no relationship with fear anymore and you've got to let it go. This is very exciting. Now you're alchemists. You're absolutely able, from past lives and this life, you've been working on this one way or another. You're absolutely able to take base level fear and you're able to raise it up. You're able to take that frequency and you're able to move through it. You're absolutely able to do this, Pile One. And if you weren't, you wouldn't be in this position. Your guides would not be putting you in this position to be able to do this. So we promise you, this too shall pass. You've got this. And when you come out of this, which is very, very soon, and hopefully most of you will be out this on the other side of this, there will be a sense of peace, of patience, of understanding of yourself. And where, all the fog sort of came in and stayed within you and sort of lingered in different aspects of your soul, you now have that joy, that happiness, that beauty, that foundation ready for you to go. And again, to move in any direction, to live spherically and enjoy all of these opportunities coming into you. We want to remind you that you are stepping up in such a way that this is happening, because you've got some great big opportunities on the horizon for you. So you're just having a bit of a real stamp to the ground, clear out, leveling up before these opportunities come in. And that's always what happens before something huge comes in. And you should be able to sense that everything's changing, that you're really leveling up in a brand new way. You're at a place that you've never been before. We want you to concentrate on that part of it rather than giving fear too much energy, because honestly, that's what it wants. It wants the energy, and it just, at this point, like we said, not going to work for you. It just doesn't, you don't need it. You just don't need it. Now, while we can't eradicate fear completely, and in some ways it definitely does work in our favor, you know, if we're flight or flight, we need it. But trust that in those moments, it will come up and you will react to it. But the way in which you've integrated it and worked with it before no longer works. So, you know, have that beautiful understanding, that new connection with temperance, with that patience, with that beauty, with that honoring of oneself. And again, this intimate, beautiful blooming of believing in yourself, and at source, believing that you deserve everything that you've asked for. This is really what this is about. Believing that you absolutely deserve that and even more that you've asked for. And you're working through this tremendously, and you are not alone here. So we've got the Starseed deck. Let's pull one more for you. Inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. Absolutely wonderful. Now, specifically for you, the love of oneself, redirecting your love to yourself, again, understanding that you are worthy of everything that you've asked for without a doubt, and reminding you that you are at an alchemical level. Take that fear and transform it, and keep breathing, and drink a lot of water if you feel called to after the session, because these Reiki symbols will come in and help to heal and move away that fog. So that's what we have for you, Pile 1. It's an amazing place to be. It really, really is. And we're sending so much love and light to you today. Remember, you have so many guardian angels and so much comfort around you right now, leading you through this beautiful time. And remember, this is all to get you ready for those huge, beautiful opportunities coming in. So hold the faith, this too shall pass. We're sending so much healing and beauty to you. If this resonated with you, feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, come join us at Unicorn Light Tarot for these healing, beautiful sessions, these deep healing sessions, and hit that bell icon so you never, ever, ever miss a video. And there are a lot of links below if there's any other way that you want to work with extra energy for support and love. They're all down below. Always listen to your intuition throughout these readings. Always listen to your intuition in which direction you want to go. And if your intuition happens to take you and wants to click on one of those beautiful links and, you know, go ahead and do a course or whatever, go be you. Go be you. They're there for you. And there's lots of other things on the Unicorn Light Tarot website, channel too, for free. Lots of other things that you can get into and work for free to help support and get the love and beauty that you need, extra support. So until we meet again, sending so much love and light. Really, we're just imagining your beautiful angel sending like a blanket of love around you. Keep breathing. You've got this. You are not alone. So much love and light. Stay safe and sane. Bye-bye, Pile. Okay, beautiful Pile 2. If you chose Pile 2, these are your messages of comfort from your guardian angel. And do not forget, as an extra side wisdom, we have our beautiful candle for healing and abundance and gorgeousness. So release into the flame what no longer serves you, or bring in abundance and manifestation. So we also have our Reiki wand. We'll be sending you a little love, little extra Reiki and healing should you need it through the session. Let's get right in. So we have our oracle card, and we also have our tarot card here. So we'll start off with that. Bury me. Take some time for yourself. And we've got the Prince of Cups here. Wonderful, wonderful. And let's take one more of these beautiful tarot cards here for your foundational reading. And then we have a few oracle cards on the side to help us through. Okay, so we have the Four of Cups in reverse here. So there is the first message that I'm getting for you, Pile 2. There is a need not a need. And these readings, of course, you take them as they resonate with you. But there's a need to not necessarily to do things yourself. Now, you're certainly open, Paul, too. We're not saying that you're not open, but there's this real kind of energy that's still there. There's a survival mode in you where, not all of you had situations where you could really rely on other people. Now, as you grew up, there are pockets of situations and people where you could, but there may have been a message for you that that people let you down, and it was best to do things yourself. And that's totally understandable. I think a lot of us get that message, but you're hyper independent, and that's an absolutely wonderful thing. And that hyper independence in many ways sets you aside from other people because you have this self reliance that most people don't. You have this type of resilience that most people don't. You also put yourself into situations in many ways in the past that most people don't. So you have a lot of experiences, you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of beauty. But the thing is that you've come to the stage where you're very understanding that you do understand at a core level, at every level really, that your angels are there and you've worked with them. You've gone throughout your life in a way that you've developed your relationships with your angels and with your guardians. So you know that they're there, and how your life can change in an instance when you just sort of open up and you allow things to happen. Your main message here, your main message of comfort is they want to help you a lot more than you're really allowing. There's just this last little barrier that they're trying to get through, and they're watching you go through this, and they watch you sometimes make situations a little bit worse because it's almost like, I'm here now, I can make everything okay. And yes, you can. But sometimes they want to make everything okay for you. You have the tendency, a little bit of real talk here, pal, too, but this is, these are messages of comfort. So once you realize what's going on, you can move through it quite easily. Sometimes you make things a little harder for yourself than they need to be. You absolutely do. And that's because you expect things to be hard. For you, a lot of you, things have been difficult for you. You haven't had necessarily the support, the real added support. So you've had to, you've had to move through there. And everything you've achieved sensibly in your life has been because you've gotten out there and you've done things. And you're not afraid of putting yourself out there one way or another. And if you are, there's a reason for it. You want to secure yourself. You want to make sure that you're ready for this. But there's reasonings for it. You're all about divine timing. Your soul is all about divine timing. Whether you realize to the degree that you are or not. But here's the thing. At some point, you have to come to a point, well, you don't have to, but at some point, sometimes we come to this point where we're like, okay, we've done everything we can. And now we can really get to the level or the plateau where we can just open ourselves up and say, what next? Now, while you're good at doing this at a very preliminary level, there's still an element of control there that you hold on to, where it's like, even when you're like, okay, I'm open, what next? And you do listen to your intuition. That's something that you've been working on because your intuition is impeccable. But your need to do everything yourself sometimes blocks that intuition a little bit. And again, that's why things, you're going around the mulberry bush. That's why things are a little bit more difficult for you sometimes. Now, you always get to where you want to be. Absolutely. You always achieve everything that you've wanted to achieve. And all of your achievements in life feel huge, and they should feel huge because it took you a concerted effort to be able to get there. Now the universe is asking you to step back and say, we don't need you to make this much effort anymore. You know yourself enough. You know your self-worth enough. We want you to take some time. We want you to take some time off. And we want you to allow us to step in there and see what we can do for you. We don't need you to figure out the outcome. You've got that. We've got that. So you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about even your next step. You just need to know and sense the direction you need to work in. And then those baby steps will appear to you somewhat out of nothing. Now, pile two, real talk. You are capable of a really, really beautiful, explosive, magical life. You have it in you to live a beautiful, magical life where people are like, I don't even know how you did that, girl. I don't know how you did that. I really don't know how you did that. Um, I don't know how that came to you. I don't know. And it's not that people won't be saying, I don't know, you don't deserve it, but you absolutely have the opportunity to have that kind of life where people are like stumped that everything falls into place, that one of those lucky lives where everything is absolutely gorgeous, and they don't know how you did it. How did you do it? What are you doing? Is it you're adding vitamins to your water? Where can I buy them? You have the chance to have this kind of life, the life you can have, the life that you have been preparing yourself for. And in many ways, you've been working with alchemy, you've been working with frequency, you know your own magic, you know your own power. But what you're not allowing necessarily is your own power to meld with the power of the universe, and giving your own power freedom to just be and the opportunities to flow in. What you do is sometimes you block those opportunities. Now, there could have been a little bit of fear of success in the past for you, but you've moved through that because you've realigned with the energy of success and what success truly means for you. So you don't need to worry about any of this anymore. The way in which you're moving forward, the experiences that you have are absolutely enough to bring you into fruition, into anything that you've asked for. And you even know in your deep heart, this is something that you've been working on, you even know in your deep heart that you deserve what it is that you've asked for. That could use a little bit more developing, sure, but at your core, you absolutely know, Pal 2, what it is that you've asked for, you deserve. And you also know on another level that you would not have asked for it if you didn't think that you would utilize it properly, that you would use it to help other people, that you would work with this success in an absolutely brilliant way beyond the ego. You know that too. It's absolutely flawless in that way. So you know that you deserve it, and yet there's still a part of you that insists on somewhat semi-blocking all of these beautiful opportunities coming in. So you're being asked to surrender. You're being asked to step back. You're being asked, and this is not a small thing. This is not a small thing for you, Pal 2. It really isn't. But it's a transformative thing. It's something that can help you get to the next level and take the download off, because you're working so hard, and also this disillusionary kind of like, oh, things aren't working out the way that I want to, this, that, and the other, because you're not necessarily in alignment. You're trying to control the situation. You're in alignment, in alignment, in alignment. Then you get to that point where you kind of panic, you block a little bit, and then you go from alignment into control, and then things kind of fall apart a little bit. So if you've been one of those folks that have had mixed kind of bag of moving forward and having things work out, or things look like they're working out really, really well, and at the last minute it's kind of a crapshoot. This is the reason why you're self-sabotaging a little bit. But here's the thing. With you, you're going to get what you want anyway. There's a divine element, divine timing element to it anyway. And this is your time, Pal 2. This is why you're here. This is why you've clicked onto this reading. You're absolutely here for a reason. So first of all, the first thing that we want to tell you and make very clear is that any opportunity that's past doesn't matter. Let it go. It wasn't for you anyway. You're here at this time to make sure that you open up to all these new opportunities coming in, and at the level that you're at now, you're really bringing in these new opportunities, which can be and will be life-changing. So this is perfect. So don't worry about what happened in the past. You didn't miss out on anything. But we want you, your angels of comfort, your comforting angels want you to have the life that you want. And it's so easily accessible for you. It's just a matter of reaching out and pulling it into your existence. And this is not something that you do every now and again. This is a way that you can live constructively for the rest of your earthbound life, having this magical life. So it's this, and you've been working with the understanding of alignment versus control. You've been working on it so hard. You've been working on everything that you need to get you to this point. This is just the last part of it, because it's like you're in alignment. You're in alignment. You're elated. You're elated. You're elated, and then you get to this point where you can feel like something's coming in, and then you get scared. But here's the thing. You are at a level that you've never been at before. You just are. And everything does feel brand new because it is. And it's always going to feel brand new from this point onwards. So when you get to that point of sort of a little bit of panic, or a subconscious panic, or very conscious panic, and then you shut down your guides and you shut down some of those opportunities coming in, you're just going to keep going to that state again until you break through at the end, because you can't go back to how you were before. None of that works anymore. So it's not like, all right, I'm deciding not to do this and I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to stay comfortable. Not at all. You're not going to stay comfortable. You're way out of, what worked for you before. So, you're being asked to level up and to take that final leap. And once you take that final leap for the first time, you won't need to keep doing it. It's almost like you're trying to ask the universe to prove itself. And the universe is saying, fine, test me. I'm here for you. Take that leap and let me show you that I can help you. But then you're saying, all right, universe, I'm testing you. And then you get to that last point, you pull back and you don't allow the universe to be tested, for them to prove to you that they're there for you. So let's get you a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do here for, first of all, we're going to open up with the power symbol with the chakra ray. We're going to send you a little bit of healing energy here. Now, I want to use this symbol to help heal your lower chakras. So just give a second here. This is the beautiful Rama symbol. Love this. And then, of course, we're going to do the Sehe key right here. And let's a little extra power with the power symbol. We're going to send that to you. Now, what's happening there as we heal, clears negative energies, clears the mind, and specifically here heals your lower chakras. So keep breathing through this energy. Now, any doubts that are coming up that you can't really, it's not that you can't really trust the universe. That's not really what you think. It's just that you have to do things yourself and you have to have an active role. Yes, you do have to have an active role. And it's strange that we're telling you that, have less of an active role. It's a little bit odd. We get it. Especially the way that you've had to be in your life. This is, counterproductive on a very sort of subconscious level for you. But if we can heal those lower chakras there, those sort of lower understanding, those lower chakras of healing and of the foundation where because in those first and second chakras, it's your first base chakra that's telling you that everything will be okay if you're completely in control of everything, and this is the way it needs to be, and you're the one that you can rely on. So if we're sending healing energy back into those chakras and clearing out some of that negativity, clearing out that fog, as we said in Pile 1, clearing out some of that fog, then you can see that actually you've done enough. And your active role is more than enough. And thank you for your active role. And now the universe wants to work as a co-creator with you in the surrendering process. And so much can come for you for that surrendering process. So we're just sending some extra energy to your lower chakras just to calm them down, just to give them a little bit sort of a cloud-like consistency, a little bit sort of that heaven on earth feeling in your first chakra. So just breathe into that energy there while we get you just a little extra information, a little extra insight. Oh, that Lord Ganesh came right out. Infinite abundance, obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing. Absolutely, they are. And you know, this is a message of comfort. This is messages that you need to hear right now. Very power. You have extremely powerful guides because you are extremely powerful. You know the level of your own magic. You've always known this. This is not up for discussion. This you know. All you need to do, pal, too, is get out of your own damn way and let that magic work for you. Trust yourself, trust your guides. You have very powerful guides who are working for you. Let me tell you, they can do far more for you if you let them do it. See yourself as your life so far. You've put all the building blocks of your life so far. You've done all the hard work. You've integrated, aspects of self. You've done all this hard work to get to this point. You've used that active energy to get to this point. Let the universe bring it home for you, because they can provide you with the kind of opportunities that if you're not in alignment, if you're trying to control the situations, that will just fall flat or will just sort of represent more things that you'll be attracting sort of situations that are not quite right for you. They're okay, but you still have to kind of work or tweak them or this, that, and the other. These are going to be effortless opportunities if you hand over some of that control to the universe. They're there for you. They're waiting to bring them in. They're waiting to bring them in. Let's see, we have the Moonology Oracle too. And, you know, honestly, there's nothing left for you to do here but to surrender. That's it. And again, you know, you've at this plateau that there's nowhere else for you to go anyway. So this is a beautiful time, and you can see this is a gorgeous time for you. Again, you have all the experience that you need. All the emotions have been integrated. You know what you're doing. You know your power. And really, this is a way for you to come full circle into your power and really integrate with your power and see how powerful you really are. When you're trying to control things and you're not in complete alignment, what you're doing is you're holding your power. You're aware of your power, but you're holding your power in a very specific light, sort of away from yourself, almost like outside of yourself, so you can grab onto that power whenever you need it. When it's poured in and it's fully integrated into one soul, we can acknowledge and integrate that power and work from that power source in a brand new way, which is truly exciting. And this is up for grabs for you. This way of living is absolutely, you're ready for it. So nothing is yet set in stone. Now, this is something mutable energy too. You know, this idea that, you know, yes, there are certain things out there waiting for you, but the way in which they look will be a little bit different. So we want you to get comfort from that mutable energy. Now, you know, when you're manifesting, it's always good to have a really clear idea of what it is that you want, and then you're supposed to let that go. And then the universe goes, oh, I love that. Now we're gonna come back. We're gonna negotiate a little bit, and I'm gonna give you this instead, because we're gonna take it to the next level, and this is what you actually really truly want. And you know, we're gonna level it up a little bit. So, you know, reminding you of, yes, be really clear about what it is that you want, but allow that mutable energy to come in so it'll look different when it comes in. So nothing is really set in stone yet. Every intention that you're putting out there is putting you to the path of bringing something beautiful and big into your life. You don't need to know what it physically looks like when it comes in. Trust us, it's gonna be gorgeous. So maybe take the emphasis off the specifics of what what you're asking for will look like, and just concentrate on how you will feel when you get it. What kind of person will you be? How you be reacting? This, that, and the other. Concentrate on that necessarily, and try on different aspects to see, if you're looking for a new house, what you really want versus this, that, and the other. And all of that is great, but then let it all go. So again, we're reminding you of that mutable energy, not holding on. The more we hold on to things, sorry, just give me a second here. Give me a second. The more we hold on to things, the more the energy sort of stays with us and doesn't really get the freedom it needs to go out there and pick up its sort of friends and say, yeah, and build up this momentum. So we want you to build up the momentum. And again, it's just a reminder, the releasing of the situation and just the allowing of the situation is key here. Absolutely key. Trust is key too. trusting yourself. You've done enough work, and trusting the universe to bring it home. So you're exactly where you need to be. Keep breathing all of that energy. Hopefully you're feeling a little lighter, especially in the first and second chakra, a little more hopeful. That Reiki will definitely loosen up some of that energy in there. If there's any foggy energy. And we're just going to get a star seed. We're going to end with a star seed. Advancement. A strong energy is propelling you forward. Follow the stirrings of your heart. Absolutely. You know that you are moving forward. You're moving forward beautifully. You've set yourself up beautifully. And remember, as we said before, to reiterate right at the beginning of the reading, everything is moving in succession. You've done everything you've needed to do. So let the universe bring it home. You're absolutely moving into these beautiful opportunities. Allow the universe to bring in these opportunities for you so that you don't have these massive up and down or these disappointments where it looks like something's going to really take off and then it doesn't. It doesn't quite work out the way that you want to avoid these disappointments, as it were, and to really hone in and allow for this magical life to come in, which you're absolutely set up to live. All you need to do is allow and to trust. And this is not a small thing, but you've done all the work to get yourself there. So the payoff is absolutely guaranteed, Pal 2. Absolutely guaranteed. Just trust and breathe and do less. Take some time for yourself. Sometimes, when I'm writing sometimes and I get a little, I don't call it writer's block, but I don't know what I'm going to do next. I go out, I do something, I read a book, and within a couple of hours, when my mind is somewhere else, the idea that whatever it is, it clicks into place and I go back and write. But when I'm at that point and I've come so far in the book and I know something's happening and it's right there on the tip of my tongue, I don't force myself to keep going. I don't stay in that control. What I say is I give it up. I let it go. And I know that something else, as that freedom, will bring in what it is that I want. And this is it. This is for you. You're writing your book. You're ending your opportunities. You're leading persons coming in. Your great career. All of that stuff is coming. Everything that you want. Just give it space to come in. So that's what we have for you, Pal 2. We hope that the Reiki helped. We hope that this information gave you some insight and some beauty, and we're really excited for where you are. It's a really beautiful moment in time for you to gather your strength, to gather your power, and to be exactly where you need to be to get the life that you want, because you absolutely deserve it, and you've been working for it for your entire life. So absolutely. So if this reading resonated, feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, come hang out with us at Unicorn Light Tarot. If you've not subscribed, go ahead and do that and hit that bell icon. We would love to have you here. We have so many free resources on Unicorn Light Tarot. We have Unicorn Therapy and Intuition and the Oracle, and of course other great readings. And of course there are many what's that word? For some reason, I just got a brain fart. There are many links below on how to work with this energy and stay in this support. So always listen to your intuition. And if you feel on clicking one of those links, go ahead. We have the Unicorn School of Light. We have all sorts of things. All the details are down below. You go get you. So until we meet again, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Have a beautiful, beautiful life. You've got this. Pile 2. Stay safe and sane. Bye-bye. So welcome all you gorgeous Pile 3ers out there. If you chose Pile 3, do not forget we have many different ways we can activate and help you out in this reading. We have our beautiful light here. So if you want to release anything that no longer serves you, you can do that by looking into the flame or bringing in an essence of abundance and manifestation. And we will be working with some Reiki too to give you a little extra leveling up on healing should you need it in this reading. So as a reminder, we are doing messages of comfort from your guardian angels, what you need to know right now. We have one oracle card and one tarot card, so we will start off with that. So we have the 4 of discs. Wonderful. And take time to breathe out. Let's see if you can see all of these. I'm also going to take one more for your foundational reading of Tarot 2, and then we'll get right into that. Wonderful. So in each of these readings, there's an element of space and beauty needed to bring into fruition. Oh, High Priestess, look at that gorgeousness. Coming into your sense of power, pile 3. So your messages of comfort, the first message that we're getting for you, pile 3, is this is definitely your time to put your energy out there. This is a divine timing element for you. Now, you've been doing this all along. The way in which you sort of poke your head out and do certain things and poke your head back in, it's not like you've never been integrated into society. Not at all. But there are a lot of you that have that energy of that beautiful old witch that lives in the woods and does their magic, you know, and they're up for helping the villagers, but that's where they live. You've got that kind of energy to you too. And actually, in the pile 3 realm, a lot of you actually in past lives may have been that actual personage, which is kind of funny. But in this lifetime, there's a sense of loner to you, which is beautiful. Now, some of that was practicality because you knew that in this journey, there was a lot that needed to be done alone. There was a lot of responsibility that you wanted to take for your own actions, and you realized that if you gave yourself space to heal, you were best doing it alone. And so, and there's an element of you that's got that sort of introverted element to you too, but there's also an extroversion out there too. There's an extroverted element to you too. You're very layered, but you're also very deeply balanced between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Now, this is something that you've been working on, and it's working out brilliantly. So you may find, for some of your personalities, you may find that you're surprised to find that your personality is shifting and evolving is the word that we want to use, and that's absolutely gorgeous. Whereas, like, you would always hold back a little bit. Now you're more prone to sort of moving forward and integrating yourself into different conversations, and sort of stepping up your energy. And whereas before, a lot of you would not necessarily express your opinion unless you were called on, you're actually putting your wisdom and your opinion out there now, which is wonderful, and that's what we need. Because your energy is gorgeous. So what you've done, really, a lot of you have done a lot of the healing and a lot of what you've needed to do sort of on the sidelines, and that's created the sort of sidelines of you being on the sidelines of life, looking in, sort of the external looking in. Now, there's some great things about that. Because the way in which you've healed on your own terms. The way in which you've learned on your own terms. And for someone like you, that's a good thing, because, you have that stubbornness. You want to do things on your own terms. And also, there's been an element where people, project upon you, and that's manipulation. So you've wanted to do things on your own terms. So you pulled yourself out in order to do things on your own terms. So you can say, no, I'm doing it this way. I don't need to do it that way. And that's worked for you, and that's absolutely fine. Now that you're at this integration stage where you've reached this level of beauty and you've reached this level of healing, okay, and you know your power, and you also know the world needs that power. You've worked with your ego, you've worked beyond the ego. You can see truth. A lot of people, what people pull off as truth is, I don't know what it is. It's their truth, and that's fine. And we can hold space for that. Why not? But it's not actual truth. Actual truth has, many different spheres of truth, and it's universal truth, and it contains many different possibilities, and there's not one way of doing things or whatever. And you have a direct connection to that element of truth. And of course, if anything that 2020 taught us is that people have their own version of things. Absolutely. So we need your energy. We need people like you to remind us that there are many different versions of truth, and that we can allow for all different versions of truth. And in the end, the actual truth will always be revealed. So you don't need to worry about fighting this or fighting that opinion, or da da da, or you don't get it, or it doesn't matter. The absolute truth will always be revealed. It always will. It cannot hide forever. And this is knowledge that you have, deep seated ancient knowledge. This is knowledge that you're here to relive, the word is regurgitate that I keep getting, which is kind of funny. But to integrate into society. So you've pulled yourself back a little bit to do things on your own terms, and that's absolutely worked, and that's beautiful. So the energy of comfort is just reminding you, it's almost like they're pushing you a little bit further in, saying, all right, you're peeking out, let's do this. I've got this energy, I know what I'm doing. When I put myself out there a little bit and I have my opinion, and I'm trickling out there, I get a great response. That's wonderful. And your guides are going, yay, good for you. But now they're sort of pushing you, and it's really funny because you're happy to do it in a way, but you're sort of dragging your heels a little bit, which is kind of funny because you're willing to do it, but it's almost like I still want to do it on my own terms. And the universe is saying, yeah, no, we totally get that. And we've totally supported the way that you're doing it. But now we're saying that you don't need to be what you're doing. You don't need to take the sidelines anymore and keep dipping your toe in and dipping your fingers in and dipping just your foot in. We want you to jump in. It's time to jump in. You've got this, absolutely. You've done everything that you need, and we want you to have that quality of life, and where you're integrating and you're connecting and you're feeling all of that, and that will happen when you jump in. Again, we want to support the way that you've done this before, with the little toe in, this, that, and the other, and going in, coming back out, going in. There was a lot that you needed to. You were healing bloodlines, past lives, karmic issues, all sorts of things. There was lots of things that were going on. So the way in which you decided to heal on your own terms was absolutely perfect for you. You do everything absolutely perfectly because your intuition is impeccable. If you don't listen to your intuition, you go against it, you really kind of know on some point or some level that you're doing that. But your intuition is absolutely impeccable. So the way in which you've chosen to do things, we would never say anything about. However, you're being asked to take that real last breath and just go for it. There's no point in holding back anymore. You're absolutely at that point, and you can feel that sort of the word. I keep getting these really funny words, this sort of titillating kind of like these experiences. You can feel them very much, like really at the end of the tips of your fingers, these big opportunities coming in, what it is that you want. You can feel all of this excitement. I always feel it at the back, the base first chakra, going all the way back. It's like electric, all the way back through your backbone and going in through the third eye and up through the crown chakra. You can feel all of that. And sometimes the doubt comes in a little bit later because you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, or your subconscious is like, but we're still dipping our toes. And the universe is saying, no, you've done enough now. You've done enough dipping. We want you to submerge and go be you. And you have all of the traits. You've developed everything. Before, you were a little bit sensitive. Because you have this sort of really sensitive and this beautiful empathic energy. So, and you've been projected upon and not been treated that nicely, Pal 3. And it doesn't feel nice not to be seen. A lot of people have taken energy from you and used it for themselves, and they've not actually taken the time to see exactly who you are. And people will step up to you and say, I know who you are, and they'll give you a long list of whatever, and it's like, it's pure projection. So of course it's been hurtful in the past, and some of them could have been quite intimate, or friends, or just people who were just like ba 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 ba, talking for the sake of talking. Really at the end of the day, for someone who's done all of this inner work and has really stepped into their power but have never really been seen, you've had people that have been in and around you, pockets of people that have seen you. It's not like you've never been seen, but on the whole, people see definitely what they want to see within you. You've been more sort of a looking glass for other people rather than, really being seen for who you are, and you've not been treated accordingly. So it makes sense that, as you utilize your power, that you want to hold back a little bit and hold on to it, because you've become quite sensitive in that way. When people sort of come at you, this, that, and the other, it genuinely hurts. And there's a part of you that's exhausted from constantly having to wield through the absolute bullshit, you know? And even when people say things like, "Oh, you're really emotional," it's just so obvious. Yes, you know, there's nothing wrong with being emotional. Emotional is wonderful. In fact, if that person who accused you of being more emotional were a little bit more emotional, they'd be much more in touch with who they were. So it's even like, even when people quote unquote see you per se, they're pointing out obvious things to you, and then giving sort of a sort of a negative a connotation to it. So these are the reasons why you would have pulled yourself back. You become quite sensitive over the years, and in some cases maybe a little bit defensive, but there was a reason for your defense. There was an absolute reason for your defense. You weren't defensive out of nowhere or defensive for no reason. So we too understand why you're, testing the universe and pulling back a little bit. We totally get it. But what you've been working on, especially with your power, you've been working on that resilience. You've been working on that beauty. You've been working on understanding and really clicking into who you are. So when people project now, you can just go, oh, off you pop. Nobody cares. And you can go, just smile and go, uh-huh. You don't have to take on any of that energy anymore. You've been working on boundaries. You know how to do this. There's really no reason. Whereas before you were protecting yourself. So that's why, just the little toe in and pulling yourself back. There was a real reason for it. And we understood that. That reason doesn't exist anymore. So go. Bathe in that new beauty that you have, bathe in this absolute sort of power that you have that is absolutely gorgeous, and just see what life has for you. You're being asked to sort of breathe out the old, take the wisdom that you have and integrate it fully and say, you know what, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to say what I mean. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of people out there, that are not going to like it, but that's just because they haven't done the work. They're not responsible for their own energy. They're still at that point where they're externalizing everything, and evil is outside of them, and this is happening and that happening, and they're coming from a victim mentality, and they have every right to be that way, because honestly, you may not like it, you may not appreciate it, but Earth is a free will zone, and it takes all of us to be here on different levels to figure out who we are, and no one's above each other or below each other. We make different decisions every day to be responsible for our own energy, but it really, looking down on somebody who hasn't done the work or doesn't want to do the work, that doesn't get us anywhere. That doesn't get us anywhere at all. So really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter where anybody else is. They can have their opinion. It doesn't mean that their opinion matters. And that's where you've been healing, to really firm up those boundaries, and really, you've got that soft, beautiful inner belly, that center belly that's extremely sensitive. And while that doesn't change, that's part of your power. Your emotionality is your superpower, and that's wonderful, Pal 3. Sometimes that did allow you to be a little oversensitive, and it caused you to really want to not go into certain situations because you always felt like you needed to protect yourself. Again, you've worked on that emotionality to such a point that you're not this open wound anymore. Real talk. You're not this open wound anymore. You can handle this. If criticism comes your way, you can be like, yeah, that's your opinion. Go be you. This is my opinion. I put it out there. But the truth is, the world needs your opinion. The world, because it's not an opinion, it's actually truism. The world needs your energy. The world needs who you are right now. You are ready to get out there. You are ready to do this. You are ready to be seen for exactly who you are. And if you trigger other people because they haven't done the work, then that's just the way it is. But it's not your responsibility to take on their energy. It's not your responsibility to even deal with them. That's where boundaries come in. I'm done. Don't need to deal with you. You're absolutely welcome to your opinion, but I don't need to take it on. Have a good day. Bye-bye. And you're welcome. You're absolutely ready to be able to do that. There's no reason for you to do the little toe thing anymore. Jump in, breathe out, jump in, and go get your beautiful life here. So let's do one extra. We've got, let's see what the enchanted unicorns want to say to you today. So these are messages of comfort. You have lots of guardian angels who are going, go, 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 go. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're right there. This is your divine timing. You've got this. Absolutely. Soulmates and friendships and union. Absolutely. So, here's the other thing. if you're constantly pulling your opinion back and your power back, then yeah, you're always in a state of somewhat, right? Somewhat protection, and where you needed that protection before, what that does is it doesn't put you in alignment with meeting your true soulmates and friendships and your soul family and unions that are coming in for you. And these are across the board. These are friendships, these are romantic, these are business, these are relationships. People who will see you and have your back and see you for exactly who you are, right? And these people will be there to build this beautiful foundation of wisdom and gorgeousness for you and have this beautiful connection. And this is why you're here on earth at this lifetime, to be able to do that. So dipping your toe in sometimes doesn't, if you put yourself out there, other people find you. It's basic. So whereas before you did a lot, and in some ways you have very different energy, but in some ways you have something in common with Pal 1, but particularly Pal 2, pulling yourself back out of protection, totally understanding that, and doing the work that you needed to do on your own terms. Again, we highly commend you sending a blanket of love completely around you. But now we want you to have those unions. We want you to have that luck. We want you to have that beauty. We want you to have that firm foundation, that soul family. And while there's pockets of soul family that you've had throughout your life, we want you to constantly be in and around them. We want you to constantly build this foundation of connection on this earth plane with these folks, and they need to be able to find you. Get out there and find them by being yourself and using that wisdom and that beauty. You speak from the heart. You don't speak from the mind. You don't speak from the ego. You speak from the heart, and sometimes you speak from the gut. And when that comes in, you have this plethora of information for people where things just make sense and click in, and you are needed in this earth. So don't pull that back in any way. 2 feet in, jump in, Pal 3. So let's help you with that. Give me a second here. Let's do, first of all, we're going to start off with, so breathe deeply. We're going to start off with the power symbol, with the chakra ray, of course. And then one of my favorite symbols here with healing the unconscious patterns, any kind of shadow self. And it also dispels psychic and psychological attack, which is just any remnants of that you've had from your past or even past lives, where people have even tried to pull your opinion down or discredit you because of your power. This may have happened in past lives, and there might be sort of echoes of it, not to a big degree, but echoes of it a little bit in this lifetime, because it was so powerful in a past life. Let's go ahead and clear that out once and for all. So let's just do that. A little bit of this is off screen, but it's working, we promise you. So we're going to do the hello, send that out. I also want to do the say hey key here. The right and left side of the brain, divine feminine and masculine. I'm going to send that, and then we're going to do the power symbol 2 and send that off to you. So keep breathing. Do the power symbol one more time for you. Send that out. Keep breathing. And as we do that, we're going to pull this card for you too. So just letting all of that residual energy just go once and for all. Should be feeling light, hopeful, beautiful. Keep breathing. And after the session, if you feel called to, welcome to drink some water to move through that energy too. Go take a walk, stretch, whatever you need to do. Pulling out that energy. And then we have the holy amethyst, divine alchemy. Move beyond current challenges. Give me 1 second here. Move beyond current challenges. Focus on what you desire. Absolutely. That's what we've been saying. Move into this new chapter. And this is, it's fast coming in, all these opportunities. Again, you've done everything you've needed to do. You're just at this plateau where you're being asked to trust and just move, jump right in. It's all there. You know how to do this divine alchemy. You know who you are. You know your power. You know how to defend yourself when you need to. This idea that it's all love and light, and people are just doing their best. Yes, absolutely, but some MFs need to be put in their place sometimes, right? It's like, no, that's not okay. I'm not going to put up with this behavior. And you know from your heart when it's time to step up, when it's not worth it, when it's this, your boundaries kicking. You absolutely know all of this. You know how to do it, but you know how to do it not from a sense of preservation or protection, just from a place of justice. I need to stand up. I need to show people that this is not okay. I need to protect others. I need to say, no, I'm not allowing this behavior. I'm not. You are allowed your opinion, but it's just wrong. You can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm putting my foot down. You know how to defend, you know how to do any of this, and you have divine timing. You know when to step back, you know when to step up, you know what to say. Again, you speak from your heart, your experiences, your beauty. You do not speak from your mind, and you do not speak from your ego. So many people speak from their ego. Even if they're being spiritual, they speak from their ego, and you can feel it. You can absolutely feel it. And there's an element of fear in there. You're out of that. You're out of that. You can sense it in a second with people. And again, that's just their journey, and that's how they're doing it. There's no wrong or right. People need to be who they are. And I do believe at the end of the day, I genuinely do. And maybe this is hindsight. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong many times before. But even if people are starting off on a kind of a wonky path, even in spirituality, I do believe at the end, we end up where we need to be, and it'll all be okay in the end. Sometimes we just our path is showing us some things that need to be oozed out or whatever, and it's not a clear path. So as long as the sole intention of the person is positive and they want the best for most people, and I feel like most people do, we'll end up where we need to be, and that's all we need to worry about. The path in itself, that's an individual path. You either follow them or you don't, but it doesn't mean they're wrong. Just let people be how they are. But you know how to do that, and you know to step up, know how to defend, you know when to let go. So this is your opportunity to get out there and do this pretty much on your own terms, if you allow the universe to come in and comfort you and move you forward. Again, I keep seeing this, the universe is slowly pushing you forward, and it's like your feet, it's like a cartoon character. Your feet are like, all right, I'm doing it, but like you're putting your feet in the mud, in the ground, and you're pushing forward like this. It's kind of a funny thing, but the universe is there gently nudging. At this point, they're actually kind of really pushing, but they're telling you that you're ready. Now they can't force you to move forward. This is why you're here. That's why you clicked onto this reading. That's why you're here, Pile 3. Just as a reminder that you're ready and you can do this, and that is your message of comfort. You are ready. There's no reason to hold back now. If you hold back now in any way, shape, or form, you are literally doing yourself a disservice. But again, that's up to you to do that. And I don't want to even want to say that, because that's up to you what you want to do. That you have to feel ready to do all of this. But for you, for the opportunities, for those of you who are feeling it and feeling into this reading and saying, yeah, I totally get this, this is my time, this is your opportunity to do it. It absolutely is. And you absolutely do whatever you need to do in your life. If you feel like you still need to hold back, absolutely. But it is a reminder that the opportunity, there's something opening for you. Opportunities are opening for you. And should you decide to go for them, and we really truly hope that you do, everything is there set in place for you without a shadow of a doubt. So let's end this with a Starseeds anecdote. And see what the Starseeds cards for you for your last part of this reading. So yeah, never feel forced into anything. Always feel into your intuition. But if you do feel as though, if this is resonating with you, you do feel as though this is your time, this is just proof that the time is there. It's right for you. It's absolutely right. But don't force yourself into doing anything. But if you feel it, we'd love for you to move forward. The world needs you. Celebrations. Celebrate your achievements. You truly are a gift to the universe. You absolutely are, Pile 3. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're an absolute gift to the universe, to the world. We all need you. We all need your wisdom and your beauty and your area of transformation, because anybody knows about transformation and beauty, it's you. If anybody knows about pain and how to take the lower base of alchemy of pain and being projected upon and not being seen, it's you. If anybody can hold space for someone, for empathy, to be able to see somebody and really see somebody and really listen, which is another great thing, that you're good at. A lot of people are good at talking, but you're excellent at listening and really seeing people and really seeing into what people aren't telling you either. You're very perceptive and beautiful and genuine, taking that to the next level, being out there. Also, with the rewards that comes in, not just opportunities, but again, your star soul family coming in across from unions to business, to whatever it is that you want to do, and all of it will be integrated. Love, business, for some of you, working with your significant others, setting up businesses with your significant others, or with friends, or collaborations, or this, that, and the other with soul family. For a lot of you, there's creative projects and doing an amalgam of different things, but working maybe on a film project, or working on a course with other people, and again, keeping you connected. All of these opportunities are there for you once you show yourself into the world. They will be attracted to your beaming light. So we hope we gave you some beautiful healing and whatever it is that you needed to hear today. If this resonated with you, feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment below. And of course, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon, because we would love to have you at Unicorn Light Tarot. There's lots of free resources with you. We've got the Unicorn Therapy and a couple of other things going on. And of course, great other readings that you can go back and check out. And we have a list of links down below, from the Unicorn School of Light to the book reading, whatever it is that you want for extra support and love. So feel free to click any one of those links and get some extra love and support. We're right here for you. Sending so much love and light to you, Pal 3. Stay safe and sane. Go be you. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.